This is a very, very beautiful and very, very special city. You all know that. The Minster, the streets, the community and everything else. But beautiful buildings don't necessarily give you happiness. If you're homeless, you are homeless, whether you're in front of an ancient building or not. And the crisis of housing in this country has to be addressed. Yes. It cannot be morally right that at any one night of the year there are thousands of people sleeping on the streets of our towns and cities because they've got nowhere to go. I talk to many homeless people. They've all got stories to tell, they've all had problems, there's been various disasters in their lives. But at the end of it, they are people that need our help and support. They need to be helped to get through that crisis. You don't do that if you have a housing policy that prevents councils building what is needed, that fails to regulate the private rented sector, that encourages off-plan purchases of luxury flats to be kept empty, the better to make a profit out of selling them on in the future. Surely we need a housing policy that does things in a very, very different way. And I am determined that we will get that message across in this election. This is an election about all of our futures. Rachel mentioned jobs and the economy. This town, this city, gave chocolates and sweets to me as a child. Gives chocolates to the whole country. I think chocolate should still be made here in your country. And Rachel will be on the march on the 27th of May to give voice to that concern. Today we were in Leeds this morning at Leeds City College talking to students there, and Angela Rayner, our fantastic Shadow Education Secretary, and Becky Long Bailey, our equally fantastic Business Secretary, gave an outline of what our policies are on education. Start at the bottom. Our kids need preschool places. Our kids need to be able to play and socialise together before they get to school so they understand each other and the kind of world they're in. Our primary schools, our primary school children, some come to school hungry. I want all of our schools, and it's in our policy statement, absolutely clearly, all of our schools, all our primary schools, to give a school meal to every child every day they're in school. So there's no difference between those that are eligible and those who are ineligible for free school meals in school. They all eat it together. And that is a message about the kind of world and society we want to live in. People doing things together. Our teachers and our head teachers are going through terrible traumas. The underfunding, thank you, the underfunding, I was told, somebody agreed with me here, thank you very much. I think she's a teacher. Going through terrible traumas because school spending per pupil is being cut. The number of oversized and supersized classes is rising. Something tells me there's a big problem ahead. This is the 21st century in the 6th richest country in the world. Should our schools be going through a funding crisis, or should we be supporting our schools, our teachers, our teaching assistants and the whole team that runs the school? Should our head teachers be put through the trauma of deciding which teacher to get rid of, and in secondary schools which subject to get rid of? So it's a Labour government that will fund schools properly. We will not be investing in vanity projects of selective grammar schools, because I believe education is for all. Every child deserves the very best that we can give to them. And there's one other thing I want to do for primary schools, and that is the arts pupil premium, so that every school will get some money to spend on music, on art and drama education. Because every child has abilities and imagination. Do well at music, you actually get better at maths. All these things are linked together. Let's not put everything into little boxes. Let's fund that so we can do it properly. And then you look at secondary schools and the issues there of the funding, of course, but also those that come to the end of secondary school doing their GCSEs. We will bring back the education maintenance allowance so that all those young people can continue and get on and go on to FE college, because we want to see education for all. And I'm going to say more about this next week when our manifesto comes out, but I'm very clear that one of the great achievements, Rachel talked about Labour governments of the past, was their investment in adult education throughout life, so that you're older, you want to change your job, you change your career, have new interests. Learn it, by all means. Go and learn it. And we will provide the resources to do it. Because in every one of us, there is imagination and potential. But the combination of poverty, of bad housing, of low wages, limits the achievements that our children could make. And we all lose. A child that doesn't achieve in school is the doctor we haven't got in 20 years' time. Is the engineer we haven't got in 20 years' time. And so it's also about what we do in the future of our economy. The future has to be a future where we invest. In Germany, governments invest. In France, governments invest. The model is there. It's there to look at. Where you invest in a growing economy, you get higher living standards, you get greater levels of productivity, you get greater levels of invention and innovation. We seem to pass by on the other side and think that doesn't matter. We will have a national investment bank, regionally based, which will fairly invest in transport infrastructure and other infrastructure such as broadband within this country, so that we get economic growth all across, and we will develop and invest in the sustainable green industry jobs of the future and the renewable and sustainable energy jobs of the future. And our manifesto out next week will give you a little bit more about that. There's an awful lot more I'd like to say, but there's somebody pulling at my trouser leg at the moment. And they're doing it for a very good reason, because apparently I'm supposed to be speaking in Rotherham in the near future. So I want to just say this to you, in conclusion, if I may. I'm very proud of what Rachel's achieved as the MP in the very short time. And I'm asking you all two things. One, make sure that everybody who is eligible, as the bell is tolling, everybody who is eligible must register to vote. Our ancestors laid down their lives that we might be able to vote. The democracy that the vote brought us education, brought us housing, brought us the National Health Service. Use your right to vote and make sure everybody understands it. Register to vote. And think about this for the future. Are we to be a country that glories in the Sunday Times rich list every year? Seeing no! 14% increase in their wealth in 1 year. A collective wealth more than 3 times the annual budget of our National Health Service. Or are we to be a country that says everybody must be included? We are not going to pass by on the other side. No. We don't do it individually. We should not do it collectively. So we invest in housing, we invest in transport, we invest in education, we invest in a growing economy, because that way we're investing in a future for all of us. And we would have a government that would not only do all of those things, but take its watchword on international relations as the basis of wanting peace, of wanting human rights around the world, of wanting a world that's sustainable and can last. And so you will hear lots of things. You will hear lots of things in the next 30 days of this election. But think of it this way. There are lots of us. There are lots of us who are determined to achieve that world where everybody can achieve something in their lives, where we don't pass by on the other side. Because we are determined that our message, a very, very simple message, which some very kind people are holding up at the moment, if any others have got that same poster, please hold it up. Thank you! You see how well trained we are.